this video I'm going to show you a bit about data styling and preparation of maps. For data styling, we first have a look at the attribute table of a dataset. In this case, you might notice that there's a year of construction here, and there's also a function for specific objects. Now we're going to use those two columns to visualize the data. After that, we're going to prepare our map. When you load data into QGIS, you can see that everything comes in the same color. That is because there is no styling information included in the data, it's just data. We can change that. First, we have to know what kind of data are we dealing with. The most simple way of doing that is by identifying an object and having a look at the different fields or columns in the table and see what kind of values are in there. Now we see here, for example, it has a year of construction, and that is an interesting part. And I'm going to make a map that will visualize the buildings by the year of construction. Let's do that in the most easy way. I make a graduated distribution here. As a value field, I pick the year of construction field. I press classify. I change the number of classes because I think 5 might not be a good, 4 might be better. I change the color because I don't like red. And here you see that you have something of a map already. If you're not happy with the choices that QGIS made, and it makes them because of the mode you picked here, but if you're not happy with that, you can manually adjust that. For example, if I don't like 1971 here, but I want everything from before 1950, for example, I just change this one to 1950. You can see that in the next class, 1950 is now the lowest value available. So there you have it. If you have a look at the background map, you see that, for example, labels here are covered by the objects. It's not very good. I'd like to be able to read the labels. So I go to layer rendering, and here you have an opacity slider, so you make it a bit transparent, but that's not what I'm looking for because it will kind of flatten the colors in your image as well. So you can play around with the blending modes as well. Now there's a lot of options you can pick, but multiply works quite a lot of times. If I multiply here, you see the background coming through the colors of the object layer. This is an interesting choice. There's also a point layer here, and these are apartments, you could say, within a building. If I look at one of these, I can see, for example, here a status, it's being used, but also a gebruiksdoel function, and it is a shop. And that's interesting. I'd like just to have the shops here. So let's have a look. We'll change this to categories. Graduated is just for numbers. Categorize you can do on any type of field. I change this to the function. I classify, and you see all the different types of functions. Now I'm just interested in shopping without any other things, just shopping. What I could do is I can switch every separate thing off here, but I could also do that by hiding all items and just showing the shopping function. Now this blue dot, I'm not really interested in blue dots on a map. I like to have a nice symbol here. So I'm going to change this symbol from a simple marker to an SVG marker, which is a vector graphic. Out of the box, QGIS comes with these app symbols. I have added a few in my own setup here, and there's quite a few. You could also look to a subcategory called shopping. You see a shopping basket here. You can enlarge this so that it's better visible, make the color a bit darker so that it will stand out more. And one more thing that might be interesting is give this one a little background a drop shadow so that it looks to be hovering on top of the map. If you combine this with the buildings, you see you have a nice map already. If you need different symbols, by the way, if you're interested in your own symbols, you can add them as well. The SVG symbol that we have here, you can see there's a URL here for where this is located, but you could also browse using this button and add your own. Okay, so now we have this this map, and it might be interesting to make an export of this map. The simplest way of doing that is by exporting map to image. What this will do is just take the extent of your map and save it in a certain way. It's nice, but it's more of a picture. If you want a map with a title and everything, looking a bit more professional, you go through the print layout module. So we'll make a new map, for example, map 1. And here you can see something that is your paper space. I'll just make this one full screen. Your paper space you can change by setting the properties. And that will just be your size of your map. So for example, if you want to use it in a larger scale, you can go ahead. Once you've set your paper, you can add something to your map. On the left, there's a few buttons of things that you can add to your map. One of the things is the actual map. So here we have it. Now, anything you want to change here, basically you change here in the item properties panel. If you're missing the item properties panel, for example, because you closed it, it's easy to get it back. Just right click here somewhere in the top. You see all your panels and all your toolbars that are available. In this case, we're looking for the item properties panel. Here you can set things like your scale, make it a 1 in 1000 map, for example. And there's, as you can see, there's a lot of other parameters that you can set here. If you want to change the content of the map because it's just a bit off, you want to pan it, use the move item content button to change the content. Make sure to go back to select move item. That is the default tool you're using here. Add a label that also includes a title. So here, for example, this is a good place for a title. Don't try to change things here. Go back to the item properties again. Put your title in here. Shopping map of Delft. So once you added your title, you could also change the font. By default, the font is not what it should be, so go for something you like. In my case, for example, Corpit, and bold and a bit larger, and then your text will be here. Another thing you can add is your legend, of course. And here I could say, I'd like my legend here. Now it will automatically generate a legend that includes everything that's in your table of contents in your QGIS project. So all the things, even the ones that you have switched off, are here. If you want to update this, you have to switch off the auto update, and now you can say, okay, I'm not interested in these, and with this button I can switch them off. So in this case, all the shopping parts are here. I could easily also hide the title of the data set, and that gives you just shopping. I could also change the name of this one. I could change it into year of construction. It might look a bit better. Now the background map, sometimes it's interesting to know which background map is which. Sometimes you just don't want to know. And now if you're happy with your map and you've got everything added to it, you can print it or save it. Those buttons will give a PDF export or an image export, or you could just print it straight away. Right. Enjoy.